All right. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, idealists and visionaries, I'm your boy Ideal Tone. I'm here to make it known that we are back with another episode of Binge or Cringe. Uh, you know, decided to go ahead and get things started. We are waiting on my co-host Cobalt. He is running a little late, but that's fine. And we did have some other people that were supposed to join us tonight, but things happen. We move on. We keep moving. I'm not gonna not do the episode unless it's really something like I'm sick or a family emergency. Like if I'm severely sick or a family emergency, this be the only times that I usually won't. Sorry, got sidetracked. Oh, sorry. Got distracted. But yeah, so doing that. But yeah, so we're here to go ahead and get started. We're here to talk about this episode for Binge or Cringe, MEDAKA BOX. Okay, MEDAKA BOX literally is an older anime, but not older, but old enough because it's not like new gen or anything like that. I can't remember the exact year it came out. Maybe I can look it up real quick. Yeah, I don't know the exact year it came out. But when it did come out, I kind of already knew about the show from from seeing it online as a manga, and I decided to watch the show. The show starts off, very normal, very high school ish life, and then it gets, crazier and crazier as the seasons go on, which it has two full seasons. They never really came back for a third or anything, which I think it deserves a third season. But MEDAKA BOX literally is about two protagonists, a male and female protagonist. And the main character you would think is MEDAKA, which she's one of the main characters. She's one of the protagonists, but based off what I've seen, I think the main character in the second is the second protagonist, in my opinion, which is literally her best friend. And when they go into high school, her best friend MEDAKA has always wrote her best friend into doing everything that she's doing. And at a certain point, he gets sick of it and tries to separate himself from her. And she constantly pesters him in ways he doesn't want, and to the point that he ends up caving. But she becomes student body president. She becomes student body president, hands down, without having anyone on her presidential team. She doesn't have a treasurer. She doesn't have a VP. Nothing. So, she starts looking for people to recruit. One of the people she wants to recruit is obviously her best friend, and not just because she believes he's worthy of being on the student council or anything like that. She literally has some sort of attachment to him where she feels she can't not have him next to her. He has to always be there in sickness and health. Like he has to always be there in some way, shape, or form. And not because she needs support or anything, because she literally just wants him there to be there with her. That's literally it. And you can tell that she doesn't really, here's the thing, she doesn't really need anyone, to be honest. She could probably run the entire student council and do all the jobs herself because she's strictly that powerful. And when I mean powerful, I mean she could do anything she sets her mind to. And I mean literally anything she sets her mind to. She's a superstar in martial arts, superstar in sports, superstar. She was born what you would consider as like almost a perfect being. She can't do no wrong. That's the crazy part about her. And she's always making him tag along for the ride. And then as the story progressed for season 1, she eventually gets more members who are amazing in their own regard as well to join the council. And, it just goes from there. And the story continues to the point where it's just like, it's like every school day life and everything. Nothing too crazy. It does show that, it does give a show that, she's how powerful she is and everything. And here's the thing. Her mindset is warped. Not warped in a bad way, but warped in a sense that she feels, okay, for example, how most people would feel to be shown in their underwear or half naked or anything like that. There you have this sense of modesty where you're embarrassed, right? Or bashful about it. Or you don't want nobody to see you like that. She does not care. She has no sense of modesty at all when it comes to that. So there was an episode where literally, and this was a fan service episode. I'm gonna be completely honest. This is what they call a fan service episode, and they did it to make it a fan service episode. And she's done it more than just that one time, to be honest. But there was an episode where she was literally, it was hot, and she was in the student council office in nothing but her bra and underwear, and didn't care at all. Like it was no modesty or embarrassment shown on. She was not flushed, nothing. But everybody else around her was like embarrassed or flushed for her. There was no modesty whatsoever. And it's just funny that way. And her best friend, he gets flustered around her when she does stuff like that, but at the same time he knows. But at the same time, he doesn't stay flustered for long because he knows that's how she is. And that she's always been like that. So he just takes it with a grain of salt at this point, which is weird. But at the same time, like when you become used to it, it's basically become the norm for him. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to explain like how abnormal she is. And then listen to that word, abnormal. That word is going to be very relevant to what I'm about to explain coming up. But before that, just, she's had a few people join the student council. A girl from who was on the swimming club, and then a guy who was in the judo club who she's known since middle school, who's constantly jealous of her best friend because they've known each other way longer than that. and it's just a bunch of stuff like that. What else? And then her best friend, which, oh, by the way, Monica is a first year, which is no first year has ever won student council, and that's in the school's history. But which is another abnormality that she, But like I said, keyword abnormal. Can you remember that? Then her best friend, he has another person that he's friends with, who this person is a short little girl, same year as all of them. So same year as him and Medica, in a different class, which he's a very smart kid. He's like in class A or something like that, when Medica's in the S rank class or something like that. I don't know. But with that being said, she this friend of his, she's short, blue hair and everything, and has a very mischievous. I was right. A mischievous nature. And you try to get a read on her, but like she's very mischievous. You can't really read her too much, and it makes you intrigued about what her underlining motive is. And I'm gonna be real with you, you never really kind of figure it out. And she's not an antagonist or a protagonist. She's just like somebody that just loves mischief and doesn't really get too much involved. She just likes watching from the sidelines from what I've seen, which I would have liked to see more of that develop, because you see more of her mischievousness in season 2, but you don't really see like her get active too much with her mischievousness. And I feel like she does. And I feel like she does more. And I read up in the manga, but here's the thing. It's been so long since the manga, since I read it, I can't thoroughly remember if she ever acted on her mischievousness. Makes me want to go back and read it too. So I'm thinking about actually like buying the manga volumes and going back from there. But I just wanted you to because like and here's the thing, she loves, she's her friend, which is Medica's best friend, which I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, she loves him as a friend. But you could tell she doesn't really like Medica at all. So that's that. But she doesn't hate her. She just doesn't like her. It's just like you know what I mean? She feels like because she's so she's basically perfect and abnormally perfect or whatever, that she's like no fun, because it's no fun to see somebody always succeed. And that's a part of her mischievousness. She doesn't like that. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so that's one thing. Excuse me. But yeah, but then towards the end of season 1, you get to really see how powerful Medica is. Because you get to meet an actual, real, legit antagonist to the story in episodes, I believe, 10 to 12, which are the last 3 episodes, or is it 11 to 12, whatever the case may be. In those moments or those episodes, the disciplinary committee comes back. The disciplinary committee is led by this little boy. And little boy, as in the sense that he is small. I don't remember how old he is, but I think he has been skipped a few grades. And he has this ability where these weighted balls or something like that he could toss and hurt people. Since it damages people, damages the body and everything. He's really good and very accurate and precise when throwing these balls. And he's the leader of the disciplinarian committee. And he feels like Medica does not belong or something like that. I can't remember exactly what led to their conflict 100%. But bottom line is he doesn't like her. Oh, excuse me. And the fact that he doesn't like her, he decides to antagonize her, and he becomes the antagonist. And, she constantly battles back and forth with him, but in a sense where she doesn't actually battle him or attack him. She just, dodges, or she uses the ball to send back and not hit him. You know, she's very tactical about it without injuring him or trying to resort to violence. If I'm being honest, she doesn't resort to violence when she's combating him. But then he goes too far. He pushes her too far, where he tries to hurt her student council members and especially her best friend, and she ain't having that. So she ends up saving all of them. But then this is where you see her actually for the first time be angry. You see a mood that you've never seen from her before, an emotion that she's never expressed, true anger, and it changes her. She goes into a God war mode, is what they call it, or that's what her best friend calls it, because he's seen it once before when someone else pushed her to that brink. In God war mode, her hair turns red. She becomes so agitated and angry and upset that it changes her personality, and she snaps and she goes in. She attacks. She's brutal. She hits back, and like she does get physical and violent, and the last time she was pushed to that point, apparently it broke her, which we'll get more into that. Like, it kind of literally mentally broke her. But with that being said, moving forward, she defeats him. They bring her back to her. I think her best friend brings her back to her senses to calm her down or whatever. She does defeat him, the disciplinary committee kid. And then, you know, at the end of the episode, everything goes back to normal, yada, 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 blase, blase, blase. But season two comes out of a little while later. Not too much later, but a little while later. And when it comes to, anime seasons and stuff like that. Season 2, we come to find out there are more individuals like MEDAKA and the disciplinarian kid who are very much abnormal. And this is where it's called Season 2, MEDAKA Box Abnormal. And in this MEDAKA, she is introduced to other people or beings who are similar to her in their abnormalities. They all have different special abilities and powers and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, she's met individuals like this before, but not so many all in one place. And these people are abnormal in many ways. You got the one guy who's abnormal in his strength where he can move at supersonic speeds. You got another guy who can control everything with the sound of his voice and mind. And literally everything. You got a super genius girl who's very abnormal to the point, like she's abnormal, but the reason why she's abnormal is blatantly obvious. And then you have there's another guy who has the ability, who's learned the ability to conceal all types of weapons, but his abnormality is he's always wants to hurt somebody. They're all abnormal, all abnormal. I think I covered all of them. But in order to stop and they're called the abnormal class. In order to put up into the abnormal class, which they originally attacked MEDAKA in order to get her to join them, because she's also very powerful and abnormal. But they decided to infiltrate the abnormal facility and class in order to put a stop to them and what they were trying to do. And it's just a whole art. It's just a whole kind of like battle art, to be honest. It's really cool. The whole student council gets stronger, levels up, in order to go in here and combat these guys, especially her and her best friend. Her and her best friend go and meet her brother, which she doesn't really like going to see her brother because her brother has an abnormal, that's the key word again, which he's also abnormal, has an abnormal brotherly love for her. He's a full ciscon. And he creeps her out like 100%. It's to the point that when he ran up on her or like he tried to give her a hug or whatever, spooked her from behind. She went into God rage. She went into God war mode instantaneously. It was hilarious. And she knocked him on his behind. I was like, yo, that yeah, she must really not. She likes her brother, but she don't feel it. She was like nope, nope. Or is it unconditional love but don't like? That's what I think it is. So she doesn't like her brother, but she does unconditionally love him because they're family. But it's just a whole weird situation. But her and her best friend goes through her brother's like serious combative training in order to get stronger, in order to go in and stop the abnormal class, which they ended up, taking on every abnormal that they come across and winning. But at one point, Medica gets captured and they mess with her mind a little bit and bring out her dark side, which is Dark Medica. And they have to bring Medica back by fighting her. And it's just, normal. It's what do you call it? It starts off as slice of high school life with just a really powerful person, and then you realize it starts literally becoming a battle shown in manga. Like it is, and it's pretty cool. So a lot of the fights are really really cool or entertaining in the least. And I wouldn't say they're like better than a lot of fights that you see today, like JJK, but like for what we had back then during that period of time, it was entertaining. And I'm to be honest with you, some of the fights I'm still going back and watch because I've enjoyed them. But moving on from there, once they got Medica back to normal, you see that the reason the way she is because she believes when she's in her right mind. So here's the thing: Medica didn't start off dark or pure of light like she is in season 1 or anything like that. She actually started off as neutral. I couldn't give, two F's about anything in this world. Nothing, everything is meaningless. Where that changes for her is when she meets a kid her same age, but whose outlook on life is very positive, and she does something that she thinks is really mundane and fixes something for the kid or like solves a puzzle or something like that, but the kid rejoices her for it and says, "You're smart, you're intelligent, oh my goodness, blah 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 blah," and she says, "Oh, this is nothing. You're excited that I did this. Why are you that excited?" And the kid was like, "But that means if you were able to do it so easily, that means you're able to. You've been put here to help people. You've been here to help. You've been sitting here to help those who can't help themselves or who need assistance in order to grow or something along those lines. Basically, like that she's a superhero or something like that. And the kid happens to be her best friend. That's where they first meet as children, very young children. That was the instance. Him saying that and treating her like that awoken that side of her that made her think, okay, I've been put on this earth to help and better people. She just wants to help people and better them, help people grow. And that's where that whole thing started for her. And, that's where she continues to be that person. Once she realizes, and once she remembers that, and then she remembers that while in the midst of being her dark self, she comes back to her original self. And when she remembers that was the reason why she became like that, she starts crying and everything like that. And, it just snaps her back to reality. And then she ends up, relaxing, everything is cool. Then what happens is, I think everything in that something happens where stuff starts to explode or something like that. They get out of the harm's way or something like that. and they decide to squash everything, no more abnormal class and everything like that. They did what they set out to do, and they start going back to the surface. In the midst of this, the first two guys that they beat from the abnormal class are already on their way back to the surface, or like or they appear back on the surface, or the first level of the abnormal building. And they get off as they're getting off the elevator, they run into somebody, and they don't really say who or whatever, but the person does attack them, and they fight back or whatever, blah blah blah. Not too long after, MEDAKA and the rest of the crew and everybody else who escaped the explosions and stuff like that come up through the elevator as well. When they come up through the elevator, it's nothing short of a bloodbath. The two dudes who are going to fight this one individual who you don't know who it was at first are pinned to the wall. They're not dead. They're just pinned to the wall by their clothing and everything with screws. And I mean like giant like screws. And they're pinned to the wall with screws and everything. And in the midst of it, there's just one individual. Kimagawa Misogi. Or Kumagawa Misogi. That's this individual's name. Remember this individual's name. Because and unfortunately, this is literally the end besides the little OVA of season 2. And that's all we get for the seasons. You get the rest in the manga. So, but Kumagawa Misogi, it's literally the biggest antagonist of the series. And he's beyond abnormal. Like this, you think everybody else is abnormal? No, this kid is abnormal. He's gone. He's gone. Like, and here's the thing. Him and MEDAKA know each other because he was the first person, like I said in the beginning, to make her go into God Ward mode. He was the first person to push her to that brink. But the difference is when she fought him, it literally mentally broke her because of how abnormal their fight was, and neither one of them would back down. And don't get me wrong, she did end up beating him, but at the cost of her mentally breaking down at that point. It destroyed her mentally for a little while. Like it really hurt her. And you get to understand why, because he's literally one of the most broken characters besides MEDAKA in that series. His abilities are beyond abnormal. Literally, they're on a level that I don't think anybody else can really touch besides MEDAKA. And she does, but at the same time, in my personal opinion, Kumagawa Misogi is probably the most powerful character in the series. Even more so than MEDAKA. Though they paint MEDAKA to be the most powerful. But I don't know. In my personal opinion, that's just the way I feel. His ability is called non-fiction. He has another ability where he can lower the abilities of others with his screws. It's a minus ability. But so those two abilities together are very powerful and destructive. But I really want to focus on his other ability, which is non-fiction. Non-fiction gives him the power to turn anything in reality into fiction. Literally. And that's just the start of it. But what I mean, like anything, like if he says the color blue doesn't exist, the color blue literally doesn't exist. The sky will turn pink. His outfit, which is blue, will turn pink. The color blue does not exist. The sky doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It no longer resides within reality. It's non-fiction. Or is it fiction? Let me look at his abilities. What's it called? Hey.
I am very late.
Yes, but I'll be honest with you, Kobo. I've already talked about season 1 and 2 at this rate.
That's fine. Have we gone over how completely OP the male protagonist is?
You talk about the male antagonist, not protagonist.
No, he's a protagonist.
You talk about
There's two
Kimagawa.
protagonists.
You talk about Kimagawa?
You got Medaka and Zenkichi are the two protagonists.
Yes, I know. I said that. But I thought you were talking about Kumagawa, because he's the most broken character, in my opinion, in that series.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I was just talking.
I haven't watched it in 20 years. No, I haven't watched it since it aired in 2011, I think it was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually looking them up right now. Okay, MEDAKA BOX, Kumagawa Misogi. But yeah, no, you could. So basically, Kobo, I just gave him a rundown of season 1 and 2, and just the more important characters of each one, and how we never got a season 3, which I think it deserved one. You know?
Oh, 100%, 100%. They cut it off at peak character strength. It was such a bummer.
I'll return that.
I never understood. I never understood why they never even fought to try to bring it back. When it
was that time period. Remember, you had a bunch of animes that came out at that time that had their first, sometimes even second season, and then got shelved.
That's true.
You know, oh God, what was that one? Oh God. Oh, I can't even remember its name right now. But there was a good number of animes that started and never got their completion. If Bleach will teach them anything, it's that they've got gold already. They just need to finish it out.
That's true. But so if you got anything to add, Kobo, I'll just let you know exactly what I've been saying. So I definitely went down season 1 and 2, and how season 1 was more slice of life school, just showing how powerful MEDAKA truly is without really showing how powerful she actually is.
It really was. It had that My Hero Academia second season arc type feel to it, you know? But it got heat in that second season, and it almost changed the whole dynamic of the series in that it actually got dark.
It did.
It actually changed the entire. There's very few anime you see where you go from a slice of life My Hero Academia type platform to an Akuma Drive type people are dying type shit, you know? And the transition was jarring in this one. It was a fun anime because of that fact, but I was always disappointed that they cut it off when they did, because it felt like it was way too short.
Yeah, because I explained to them kind of the power scaling a little bit, and MEDAKA and her best friend are definitely the protagonists, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
She is obviously OP, and you don't get to really see how OP she is until the end of season 1. But that was just a surface layer when she fought the disciplinarian kid with the rubber balls. Yep. And she went God War mode for the first time. At least that we've seen. And I was explaining how that her God War mode changes her completely. It shows for the first time an actual emotion other than joy.
Well, that was our first time witnessing her go her busting out her actual power level. Up until that point, you don't realize it, but that's not even her. That's just her natural state.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You know what though? If you think about how they ended it with Kumagawa essentially having a power that broke all of anime.
Exactly. So I was just looking it up because I couldn't remember exactly. First of all, Kumagawa, like I was saying, Kumagawa Misogi has more than one ability, just like MEDAKA, but his abilities, which hers do too, but
his ability to define reality in general?
Yes, but he has multiple abilities though. That's just his biggest one, because he has the giant screws, which The giant screws is his weapon of choice, which he makes appear out of nowhere and can throw.
Check out here. Yeah, he can. Let's see. I've got a thing right here that kind of lays out. He has
No, I'm reading it. Yeah, I'm reading it.
Physiology. His most frightening trait is his tenacity. No matter how many times he's beaten down, he always gets back up due to largely to his history of losing at everything.
Yeah.
So he could shrug off any kind of beating.
Yeah.
Kind of makes him super gnarly. At the same time, because he considers himself the weakest person in the whole world, he knows all the weaknesses about an individual. He's learned in combat techniques and weaknesses of people, which gives him a good edge because his ability doesn't manifest right away. Remember, he doesn't even know what his full ability is initially.
No, but that's the thing about it. He doesn't, nor can he completely control it at first, because the beginning of his ability, or the major one that you were just thinking of, is called all fiction.
Yes, that's his OP power, because it's basically he can just manifest whatever he wants or negate whatever he wants.
Yes, which, correction from earlier, I'm explaining it now. The first level of it, guys, if for anybody who's watching this or rewatches it, the first level of his ability is called all fiction, which he literally can erase anything from reality and it becomes a fictional thing.
Well, initially it's just erasing his aura. That's what it is. No one he can sneak around, but that's just like the surface level of his ability. You find out that it's far more powerful once he learns a little bit more about it. He gets pushed to his limit.
Not only that, his ability evolves. Like it doesn't, and we don't. And here's the thing: you don't really know about it unless you read the manga, which I decided to do a little bit, and because they didn't give us a season 3 for so long, I was like, I want to know. So his ability evolves from not all fiction to nonfiction, which he can go back and forth between. Which nonfiction is a complete version of all fiction, which allows him to also bring back anything he has erased.
Just a side note, all fiction as a power, every otaku I know, every anime fan I know who's watched anime for several decades, people in the 80s and 90s, every single one of them cites his power as one of the OP anime powers in all of anime. Like, if there's a list for the most powerful character in anime that doesn't include him, throw that shit out the window. They don't fucking know shit about anime.
For sure. First of all, his ability, bottom line, once he actually masters his ability, is literally his ability is and that's just one. Like I said, that's just one. The other one is the screws, but he can rewrite reality as he sees it.
He rewrites shit at the end of season 2. You're like, oh my god, that's so OP, and then they end the season. You're like, oh, that's it,
right? Right. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes he doesn't even use the ability. He just uses the screws because he likes doing that.
Well, he's also gotten comfortable with that, and he went in the story. He's scared of what his ability can do at that point.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But he will use it. He will to win.
Mm-hmm. And absolutely.
And then, not to mention his original ability, which he loses, but it eventually gains back. Apparently, so he has more than. And then there's another one I'm gonna get to, but Bookmaker. His original minus ability, which allows him to bring anyone down to his level. Which he's really not.
Still got his ass kicked a dozen times.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. He's not a weak character once he learns his ability, but in his mind, he is. So with Bookmaker, he brings people down to his weakness, even though he's not that weak. That's the crazy part. Well,
all right. Here's my argument about it. He's not a protagonist.
No, he's not.
In the first season and first half of the second season, he's not a protagonist, but he becomes the protagonist that second half of the second season. He switches roles. How many animes do you know that actually do that with a character?
Wait, Kumagawa?
Yeah.
No, Kumagawa wasn't in the show until the end of season 2.
No, he's in the show in season 1, but he's not. Doesn't have anything. There's nothing he has.
Remember, no, he's not in season 1.
Is he not?
No,
I thought he was just one of the students in season 1.
Yeah, he's one of the students, but he's not at that school. He transfers.
Okay. As I said, it's been a while.
No. Yeah, that's why I was like, let me just.
Him going from a side character to a main character to a protagonist at the end, and thinking, wow, how many times have I seen that in an anime?
Yeah, I think that's in the manga though, because he eventually joins. He eventually becomes a protagonist, but remember his backstory ties in with MEDAKA because he's the reason she first went God War mode and at all. And like her backstory in middle school, he pushed her to that point. Neither one of them would budge. You know what I mean? They're both so stubborn.
Yep. Sort of like the muse.
Mm-hmm. They're both so stubborn. They kept pushing each other and just kept challenging each other to the point that she had to do it. But if I remember, and I've said this already, and if I remember it correctly, her best friend was there to witness it, and he said that fight broke her. Like, it took her forever to recover mentally. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that was in season 1 when he said that, or season 2.
Well, it was when they were going through her backstory, because you don't get a whole lot of her backstory initially.
Yeah, but when they go through her backstory, they literally he brings that up and says he doesn't want her. Yeah, that's right. It was season 2 because he doesn't want her to go through that again.
Yeah, you don't even know about her fucking hidden power until season 2. Mm-hmm. You know, in fact, you don't even know. All you know is she kicks ass, but you don't know that's not even her. You think her power is that limit in the first season, and then second season you find out that's just her as she is. You know,
she's been suppressing herself all these years.
Yeah,
but I've also talked about her as an individual too, because like I said, all right, for example, and I said if you do watch it. This was a fan service moment, 100%. The episode where it's like abnormally, she's hot in the student council room, and she's literally has no form of modesty or embarrassment when she's just in her underwear.
So let's also hearken the time period. That is 100% around the time that they were still coping with the fact that all the hentai studios had gotten shut down and all those artists had moved out. Mm-hmm. That was that early period. So funny how that turned out too.
Yeah, you know? Man. So I was explaining don't be, don't feel any type of way. It's just what it was at that point in time, and to the point that she she has no there's no form of modesty in this woman. She didn't care. She did.
Oh, zero.
She was like, I'm beautiful. My body's beautiful. It's okay if you look at it.
If you look at the anime in that time period, it from the 80s and 90s, it was far more adult. Mm-hmm. And then that era between 2000 and 2010 kind of went for a little bit younger an audience, and so that balance was different,
right,
in a way.
But the two most powerful beings in that universe is MEDAKA and Kumagawa Masogi.
Seriously,
it's just ridiculous.
I was stoked when you dropped this one. You're like, yeah, we're doing MEDAKA BOX. I'm like, no way. I'd completly forgotten you had seen that one.
Man.
Sometimes
it's such a good one, man.
You make me happy. You make me happy knowing that the next generation has the right anime in mind.
Man, it's such a good one. It is one that can't be lost to time. If they ever bring it back and continue, I am literally going to be Indian style sitting in front of the TV waiting.
We're gonna be kids again, dude. You're gonna be a kid.
I'm like, bro, I gotta see how. Here's the thing. After reading the manga, I kind of know how. I don't remember 100% how it ended, but like I kind of remember how it ended. But at the same time, to see it animated and to see her fight, well, like just to explain, like I was saying, when Medica and the rest of the people from that normal class rectify everything, and they say, okay, whatever, everything's done, solved it, and they're coming back up in the elevator, and they run into the hallway. And then some of the abnormal members that they already defeated is pinned to the wall, and you just see Kumagawa Misogi in the middle of the hall saying, hello, with a smile on his face. They're like, oh, Medica, how have you been? Like, this nonchalantly just
throws you for a complete loop. You're like, what?
And then the episode ends with her freaking out. Like, She didn't know how to maintain any form of anger or whatever. It's her arch nemesis, Kumagawa Misogi. And this man is mentally cracked. he's beyond abnormal, man. And you get this. And
at that point, he doesn't even know how to respond. He's just like, what?
He was like, I didn't do this. They were like this when I got here. Like, what?
All right, give me 1 second.
His mind is literally warped. But that just makes you want to know more about him as a character. Just that instance. Mm-hmm. Which you get to see a little more about him because they did an OVA episode before he transferred to that school. Because he was the student council president of the other school he was at, I think. Shows how powerful, and then it shows how his abilities work, just so you can get an understanding. Oh wait, no. There is somebody more powerful than both of them in that universe.
I remember the main baddie being pretty like on. Like, he had the same almost broken powers as, what's his name?
It's a girl, though. It's a girl.
Is it a girl?
Yeah, I think it's a girl. She's just like, you kind of get a glimpse of her in the OVA episode with Kimagawa. But she's just been like really low key. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was twice. I have 2 receipts. It was $99.
I keep saying Kimagawa. It's Kumagawa. My bad.
I mean, that's an honest mistake. We're Americans. We're saying Japanese names. We're gonna make mistakes.
What I have is 32 and a half hours. So originally I had 34 and a half. So yeah, double check it. Okay, check it out. Interesting.
Oh, okay, he does have another ability. Kumagawa. It's called Leg Eating Force. It's when he covers.
Yeah, doesn't he get a couple abilities from other people?
Yeah, but Leg Eating Force is something he created completely with all his abilities. It's when he covers the floor in bookmaker screws.
Oh God,
that's just ridiculous. And then he has a variant of all fiction and nonfiction. It's called April Fiction.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Man, somebody sit Kumagawa and MEDAKA box down. MEDAKA down. Somebody sit these 2 overpowered beings to get down. Like, oh man, I don't know what I would do if I had Kumagawa's abilities. MEDAKA abilities, yeah, I kind of know what I'd do. She's just like powerful in general. His abilities aren't really about like power. They're more about like technique. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that basically, like, you got anything else you want to add, Kobo? Or
No. I think you've covered most of it, and my memory of it's pretty limited at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was a while ago, a good while ago. But like I said, if they ever bring it back and continue it with a season 3, I would love to see how the battle between her and Kumagawa unfolds. You know?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those hidden anime that a lot of people don't know about because it came out again. It came out at a time where the competition was stiff, but we had a lot less anime. So I mean, if you were hardcore, you watched it
for sure.
I mean, you got to think though, like we have 6 a season now. You had 6 a year back then, so definitely different times.
Definitely, it was definitely way more limited. Or if you did have multiple, not all of them were really like good. You know,
well, you'd have 1 or 2 a season. You know, not like 5 or 6 a season in terms of anime that you would watch. You know,
yeah,
and it would be a mix between those ones, and then you have kid shows. There's a couple different kid shows that were real popular. You know,
this is true.
Like you still had the Lupins, the Conan, Detective Conan's, Aaron and shit, you know?
Yeah, it was a different era back then, for sure.
Most definitely.
But yeah, man, it's definitely a watch. For those of you who are of the newer generation, might be some cringiness to it, but I'm not gonna say it's a full binge, but it's a watch. Just to cut the middle ground. It's definitely worth the watch, especially if like you don't have, especially for those who have a short attention span, because it does start off slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a slow one for sure.
It doesn't really like see the end of season 1 into season 2 is where it like really picks up and it becomes a battle shonen manga. 100%. And that's where, like as Kobo said, it does have that little dark underlining and everything. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, when they find out, like, there's a bunch of reveals at the end of season 1 that sort of changed the atmosphere of the anime, and so season 2 becomes all about exploring this new like atmosphere, and it's a lot darker because you start to see the history of what led to her being the way she is. You know,
among everything else around encompassing their world. So, but yeah, definitely give it a watch. 100%. Give it 100%. Give it a watch. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh yeah, it's a win.
What was I about to say? Yeah, that's basically it. Kobo, thank you for stopping by. Regardless, bro, I know you had other things going on, so that's why you were late. But appreciate you.
No problem, man. Sorry I didn't get here sooner. You know.
Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good. I feel like I covered it pretty much.
Oh yeah. It was a lot fresher in your mind than it was in mine. Like that got lost in a sea of anime from that time period for me. Like I'd completely forgotten about the male protagonist in it. I'm like, fuck, I don't even remember his ability at this point. You know? So
yeah, definitely go watch MEDAKA Box, guys. Very entertaining for what it is. So yeah, so we'll be
a good insight into what led to My Hero Academia and that style of story, you know?
Definitely.
Like I feel like it was a good precursor, you know.
What was I about to say now? Oh yeah, so we will be back next week. I guess we should decide what next episode should be. Let me pull out my list here. Get cross MEDAKA Box off the list. All right. You know what? I was going to hold off on doing this one, but it was so good, and it already has 2 seasons, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a season 3. Let's do Mashal.
Let Noel know. Let Noel know.
He better finish work on time next week.
I'm just gonna say this. It stood as one of the best anime of the season when we had Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer. So it was at the top of the list of what to watch next to those animes. You can't.
What's up, Marcus? What's up, bro?
Marcus probably heard us bring up National. He's like, I got to get in there.
What's good with you, bro? We'll bring you by.
I had to make sure I show some love one time. You already know.
I appreciate it, man. What's up with you?
Straight up. Surviving, man. Surviving, bro. Had to come and check out, see what y'all was working on, man. I seen you got the show back up and jumping. So
yeah, man. I know it's been a minute, but we back in full swing. We back in full swing. But yeah, man, we working on a few things, man. We already got next episode thought out, but I am working on getting some more episodes behind that. I think I definitely want to do what was it? Shit. I can't remember it, bro, but definitely got one that I want you to be a part of coming up, though.
For sure, man. Let me know, bro. You already know. All you gotta do is shoot me a message. It's up.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, we get back into it, man. I'm excited. Get back into it and everything.
Real rap, man. I'm happy to see y'all doing it.
Yeah, and, bro. But bro,
make sure y'all put in y'all submissions for the Misfit Awards, bro. Misfit
Awards.
Oh
yeah, bro. I gotta do that. I keep forgetting. I'm gonna do that tonight. You sent me the link, right?
Yup. Do that, bro, because we're gonna have the official event December 28th, and we're gonna invite everybody out and give out official awards. Feel me? And I would love for you to be there. You know what I mean, if possible.
All right, say less, bro. Yeah, that works.
Straight up.
Yeah. Well, where's it gonna be held?
It's gonna be out here in Dayton, Ohio. I'm actually about to go to the spot that we having it at here in a minute.
Okay.
I'm about to go check it out. Well, I've been there already. I'm about to go out there and do a little small open mic performance. But the spot is a real nice spot, bro. It's everything that we do, they do. You know what I mean? So you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. But yeah, bro. Bro, props to you, man. Season 2 about to end beautifully, man. I'm like, and you already got season 3 already like headline and everything. I'm like, yeah, my boy out here.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for people like you, bro. And that's why I always make sure I return that love. That's why I wanted to come and, you know what I mean, jump on the show, you know what I mean, to make sure that, you know what I mean, I return that favor. I mean, because, you know what I mean, it take us all to build this thing. Like, I wouldn't have been able to build what I built if I didn't have people like you and people like On the Porch podcast, you know what I mean, Grind Season, and you know what I mean? It's been all love.
Yeah, bro. It takes a community, man, for sure.
Real rap. So I mean, I'm happy to be a part of you guys' community as well. You know what we're working on and in the future or whatever. And I can't wait to be able to come and bring it to you guys first, for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Just keep me looped in, man. You know we there.
Straight up.
But yeah, we just wrapping up. Actually, we decided what next week's episode is going to be. Kobo, I definitely gotta make sure I get some people on that one, and then
there's a couple of people that are gonna not want to miss that one.
Yeah, if I don't say something, I'm gonna have some upset individuals.
No, never forgive you if you do that one.
Yeah, well,
that was one he actually would call me up and go, "Hey, Mashal this week, bro."
Yeah, bro, I gotta make sure I keep everybody up on that one. But yeah,
Straight
bro.
up.
But yeah, bro.
But hey, man, I'm a holler at you about
bro,
the Discord, the Discord thing too, bro, because I definitely need your help with that. But I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. I already know y'all about to end the show. Again, man, I appreciate you, and y'all be safe.
You too, bro. Take it easy, man.
Have a beautiful day.
Straight up, man.
But yeah, all right, Kobo. We decided next week is Mashal. I'm going to really start promoting starting tomorrow. So I'm going to make the thumbnail tonight and start promoting tomorrow.
Nice.
Try to get some people involved. Got to get back.
I just watched like a clip of one of his first fights when he meets the redhead kid and he just pummels the dude with the what do you call it? The metal ability.
Yeah, bro. It's such a good show. But yeah, so
God, dude, all his fights are just ridiculous,
bro. But they're entertaining, if nothing else. So definitely next week, Mashu is going to be good. I feel like it's going to be a big one where a bunch of people are going to want to be there. So definitely stay tuned.
We're gonna have a lot of energy in that one.
Oh, for sure. And it'll be perfect because it'll be like the holiday. So you know what? Yeah, we'll do it on Tuesday. Well, you know what? Everybody hear me out.
Let's see what everyone's schedule is.
Let's see what everybody's schedule. Usually we just do Tuesdays and we stick to that. But it's a holiday. This is upcoming on Monday. If we can do it on Monday night, let's try to do it on Monday night. If not, we will stick to our usual plan of Tuesday. But we going to hop in. So, but yeah, Mashal next week, either the 11th or the 12th next week at 8. So that time frame to be TBD, to be decided. But without further ado, I am your boy Adil Tone, and this is the Godfather of Anime, Cobalt 70 himself.
What up? What up?
And we out of here.
Peace. You made it known. You got to say you made it known.
Oh, I made it known.
Jesus, why do I got to be doing your tagline?
Hey, look, man, it's been a long day.
Clearly, the razor keeps missing you too, there, Grandpa.
Hey, I look good. Very rugged.
Oh my God. I'm done with you. All right, I'll see you online in a bit.
All right, bro. Later. Catch y'all later, y'all.